What are you going to do about the fact that the mind wants to know? What are you going to do about that? We were thinking maybe offering discounts on prefrontal lobotomies, but I don't know if they're reversible. Just free me from my mind until I'm liberated. Then you can give it back to me. Then I can use it. What do they used to say? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Remember that? Actually, the mind can be liberated too. It doesn't have to be trashed or, rejected, but just seen clearly. But it really likes to create beliefs. It really likes to, it feels secure in thinking it knows what's happening. Doesn't it? Or insecure if it doesn't know what's happening, not sure what's happening. Welcome. I'm very glad you could be here and allow whatever's going to happen. Or not allow, as the case may be. Or resist, or reject, or struggle, or condemn. I don't know. Whatever your thing is. But ultimately, you might find that you're just here to be here. Not for a reason, really. Freedom is also free of reason. It's just being, which really is open-minded, open-hearted, open-bodied too, embodied awareness. Really alive, fully alive. No matter how things are in the sort of relative sense, even if you're tired or, hungry or irritated or longing, in pain, you can still return to a place that's centered and aligned. And that's really what we're here for, is to return back to that alignment, that centered balance point that is effortless, even when it's been heavy, or even if you feel compressed or pulled down or distracted. Because awareness is already the essence of this life force that we are. It's not like something you get if you, win the race or get enlightened. It sounds like, something you do at the department store. We're having a 20% discount on enlightenment this week. Come and get it. I'm going to get it. People tell me that sometimes. Really funny, actually. I'm going to get it. Right. It's amazing how creative we are in our suffering. Yeah. Oh, well. I just want to welcome this chicken that's sitting here. As I often say, eventually all the chickens come home to roost, and just have to welcome the chicken. All the parts of ourselves that we've become disconnected from or unconscious about. You awaken, which means you all have awakened or tasted or glimpsed the light, the presence, the truth that you are. That's why you're here. That's why we're hanging out. To deepen that and cultivate that and allow that to become what we are, to realize that that's what we are. And as I've often said, that glimpse, that awakening is usually followed by the rude awakening. That's when the chickens start coming home. I thought I cleared that in the S training. All that anger. I'm not an angry person. I thought I healed my father wounds. Oh, gosh. Don't get me going. No, we actually welcome all the parts, all the arisings, all of the movement eventually with gratitude and with love and compassion and forgiveness, so that they can let go of their identity. Because identity is just a construct. It's a belief, actually, and it becomes kind of a thing that runs us, that can run us. So when you awaken or begin the process of awakening, because I like to think of it as an ongoing awakening, not some finish line. Forget that. I mean, how could there be a finish line in the infinite, unknowable universe? That's ridiculous. That's just a belief. So in this awakening movement process, there's healing. There's the arising of, what has been cut off or split off or hidden away, or, So as Rob pointed out in Molokai recently, you can start getting triggered. You can become more sensitive, actually, as you awaken. Have you noticed that? That reminds me of a kind of a funny story. You may have heard this one. Actually, it was a cartoon. Gan Wilson, remember him? Cartoonist. He had a cartoon. He did a series of Zen cartoons long time back when I was a monk, I think, in the early 70s. They're really funny. And One of them, there are all these little scenes with the disciple and the Zen master, right? Having little chats. And one of them is the student sitting there with a teacher and saying, I've had a really, really stressful day. There was a breeze, a bell rang, and a butterfly landed on my shoulder. You get really sensitive. That person's breathing. Please not breathe so loud. I'm just. Truth is, we're connected. Actually, that sounds like some cool thing, belief maybe, or some whatever. But that's what I perceive. That's what I'm living in. This undulation of beingness that we are. Being here is just really, it's like a soup of awareness that you can actually kind of simmer in. You can just kind of steep in it. Just kind of let yourself soften, unwind. You might rattle the cage a little bit. Being here. But there's nothing you have to do. In case you were thinking, well, what am I supposed to do? I don't know if you were wondering that when we were sitting there for a while. Well, should I follow my breath, or count my breaths, or should I, do my mantra, my visualization? Should I just be presence? I'll just be that's it. I'll just be presence. Yeah. So because there's nothing you have to do and there's nothing you have to understand, I simply recommend paying attention to how you're struggling. What the actual energetic or physical or emotional quality of the struggle is. In other words, what's trying to get something, feel the trying or the wanting, the longing, or what's trying to get rid of something, the fear or the distraction, the mental busyness. So you notice not the arising of the condition, because that's ongoing, changing the movement of life, the movement of our bodies, our minds, our hearts. That, you don't have to worry about that. Like emotions, they're just rivers that move unless we dam them up with our resistance. So all you need to pay attention to is whatever may be not wanting what's happening, or what's wanting something to be happening. So that pulling towards, or that pushing away, or that trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And if you bring awareness to that, freedom is just a breath away. We don't become free. Freedom is what we are. It almost just shows up. It's just like, how did that happen? We just all of a sudden, peacefulness or equanimity or love, compassion, connectedness. And maybe then it's gone. Oh no, I want that back. I want the awaken. I want that, back. That's the struggle. After a while, as you become more established in awareness, that fear just doesn't, it's not there. You don't care anymore whether you're feeling connected or not. Doesn't matter. Because, there's a deeper emerging trust that begins to develop. But when that's not there, I get it, it's hard. It can be scary or frustrating or like, oh my God, how long am I going to have to keep coming to these things? Could be shopping at Macy's or having a big sale and everything. I'm sure you all know this too, is that the other kind of cool thing about what this is here is that it's almost like a very quiet, resonant communication that just permeates everything. Even there's a beautiful what is it? I think it was Suzuki Roshi actually who talked about. It's like walking in the fog. You walk in the fog, and eventually you're soaked through, and you didn't even know it happened. So that's like it is here. There's a kind of permeation that's just happening, even if you're not aware of it. Even if you're in complete shutdown, tight resistance. This stuff doesn't care. This presence that we are, it's like, no problem. Because, our atoms, which make up our cells and these bodies, are actually just space and energy, mostly space and energy. How far out is that? That's mind-blowing, isn't it? And awareness is that space and energy. And when you become that, you permeate everything. You are the permeable beingness. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you think, what the hell is he talking about? It doesn't matter. You don't have to learn anything or believe anything. We're not into peddling beliefs. So if you think I am, just come up and ask me about it. We'll clear it up when we have our little dialogue soon. But allow yourself, or notice if you're allowing a kind of vulnerability, a kind of receptivity. Or if you're like, no, that's too much energy, that's too much love, I can't handle it. No, people say that. They come, they go, oh yeah, I just want to be loved. And they say, whoa, wait a minute, no. That's too much. Stop. I had that too. I remember that. Oh yeah, love the Shakti. No, not that much. And finally went right over the waterfall. That was a night. I remember that quite well. That evening. It just happens by itself, So, freedom is our natural state, if you could say that. And being here just naturally, like the grass and the trees, it just grows. And this environment is kind of very fertile ground for growing into the freedom of being.